Kyle Bitin on Crichton, Latrell's unsavoury snapshot. The Dogs take over Kogarah. Just so many different things happening at the same time. What a week in the rugby league it's been, and I just realised my hair looks a little bit weird, but it's all good. How's everyone doing? Dibbo will be joining us in a couple of minutes, but we've gone live. We see the chats pumping, and I sort of just wanted to get straight into it. Look, it's lovely to have you guys join us again. Look, the Dogs are flying. The Dogs are not just doing well and exceeding expectation. The Dogs have now become the form side of the competition. At no point did we face the when we were playing the Dragons, did we feel like we were losing. At no point did we feel flustered. I think our attack is clicking, and it's not. It's such an interesting take. I don't remember the last time I felt like this about a Bulldogs team, where you feel confident going into a game. The way we scored our tries last week against the Dragons was very comforting. Having a half set up, half style tries, like a 7 setting up a halfback type tries. It's such a foreign feeling to me as a Bulldogs fan. What do you guys think? Like, is it not a weird feeling to have a half that's actually setting up tries that a half should be? A half that has a short kicking game. When was the last time we had a good short kicking game? I was speaking to my barber today. Yes, I did get a haircut, and he was saying that he thinks the last good half we had that had a good short kicking game was Trent Hodkinson. But I would argue even he didn't really have a great short kicking game. It was good, but it wasn't great. Whereas I feel like Sexton is really coming into his own, and he's only 23 years old. It is one of the most pleasing things to see that we've won 8 games out of 10 with Sexton at halfback. I am elated at the way the team is going. Josh Curran ran for 200 metres. Kiraz ran for 243 metres. It is one of those things where right now, the way I look at the team is, if we lose against the Dolphins, I'm going to be very disappointed. It's not like, if we win, it'll be great. No. If we lose against the Dolphins, I'll be disappointed. It's our home game. We're playing very, very well. Dolphins couldn't defend or can't defend to save their lives, but they have a lot of attack in them. Now, what are your thoughts? Is your thinking about the way the Bulldogs are operating at the moment changing? Like, are you starting to see the team as almost up in that echelon of top 4 teams, where most teams they face will be, can be beaten, except right up the top? What are your thoughts on that, guys? Quickly want to jump into some comments. Dibbo will be joining us in a couple of minutes. He's on his way. He just went down to grab a coffee. He's had a big day at work and then a big day in the podcast. Need to make sure we're nice and energized. Amar Hayek, Alayna Malek, thank you very much. Brian Dib, yes, you did. And you've been talking about Sexton for a very long time. Look, I want to bring Sexton onto the podcast just to tell him how much you love him, and just to tell him how much you've been singing his praises. Because let me tell you, Sexton he's not an unsung hero anymore. I think if we keep playing the way we are and giving Sexton the opportunity in the opposition 20 to work his magic, he will quickly become one of the most sought after 7s in the game. And I think that if we go deep into the finals, you'll find the club will re-sign him quick smart. And I think he wants to repay the club for having faith in him. But, there's so much to talk about, in the game against the Dragons, the crowd. Gerard Sutton, what a surprise that Gerard Sutton wasn't coaching badly. Maybe he copped so much abuse from the different sets of fans about him being a rubbish coach, a rubbish referee, that he decided to finally ref like a human being. It was just so good to see him not have a major impact on the game. Now, Omar Hayek is saying the standard has been set. Look, absolutely the standard is set. I know this is a big thing for me, or a big comment, but I actually think that we won't lose. I mean, this is a big call, but I don't think we lose another game. I mean, if we do, it's probably because we dropped form on purpose, but I don't really see us losing another game. Mohammed Sharif just dropped a super chat. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate the super chat. His comment is, great podcast, loving the content. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. It means a lot. So, yeah, the tone is definitely set. Lakeside is saying it comes down to the health of the team going forward about how good we go. Look, I agree with you, but we're actually starting to get people back as opposed to potentially losing people. So, for example, Hotboy, for the game against the Dolphins, Hotboy's gone. Salmon's onto the bench, which I think is a great move. And then we got Kingy to come back either the week next week or the week after. And we've got so many options now, and it's always the next man up. Even if Connor Tracy is potentially out this week, we've got Skelton that come in, Kiraz potentially at a fullback, or, Blake Taff if he comes back next week against the Dolphins and, Connor's out, we've got him. It really is a next man up mentality. And, you think about how good the team is going now. Can you imagine if we still had Max King? Like, Josh Curran has been unbelievable. But now that he's had a taste starting in the front row, imagine you bring Kingy onto the bench and he rotates now with Josh Curran, Sam Hughes. You've got Morin there who was playing out of his skin. Some of the tackles he made on against the Dragons were, it was absolutely fantastic. It is really starting to become, an expectation now that we are playing like a top 4 team. And, part of being successful and part of having good depth is that we're going to start losing players. And we sort of spoke about it a couple of weeks ago on the podcast that as Bulldogs fans, as a successful, club, fans of a team on the way to success, we need to sort of start, accepting that some of our New South Wales Cup and backups will be picked up by other teams. Like, it's no surprise that reports are that Skelton has signed with the Tigers. I think it's very, very appropriate that he is signing with a team that's going to give him a guaranteed first-grade position. He deserves it. He's been a first-grade winger centre for ages. Look, it's upsetting, but it's also it's success, and I love that. Chris G, Dibbo's on his way. He's just getting some coffee. It's been a bit of a day for all of us, and we love doing this. So we just want to have a coffee while we're just getting all engaged. But yeah, as all things Bulldogs mentioned, we just lost Skelton, and we're about to lose a few juniors that have their pathways blocked. This is the price of being a development club. But I also think that it's not really a problem. If you're continuing to develop, if you're investing in the development, it's not that. It is a problem that you're losing players. You never know what they can come up to. But I also think that our club's smart enough to know which ones they want to keep and which ones they're happy to let go of. And it seems like the club is sort of starting to re-sign those ones that they want to keep long term and allowing ones that we don't want to keep or are okay with letting go to sign away. So Skelton, look, I think that Skelton should have been one we probably kept, but again, as John Curry told me at one point, he said you can't keep them all, and we won't be able to keep them all. We re-signed I think his name is Underwood or Underhill last week, which is fantastic. Guys, it's one of those things that it makes me happy as a fan. Like, I look forward to the Dolphins game. So I want to see some attack. That's what I want to see. We have the defense. Like, we kept the Dragons to 10 points. They put 18 on the Storm. We kept them to 10. And to be honest, they never really looked like scoring again. And even when they got into our 20, they looked like they were sort of not rudderless, but it looked like they just couldn't handle our defense. And, I want to point out, we talk about Sexton's attack. I have to talk about his defense because over the last few weeks, and I think, this is the beauty of excuse me. This is the beauty of Serrato's method of not throwing plays in the deep end before they're ready. He made 35 tackles against the Raiders, makes 27 tackles against the Dragons with Leilua running at him all day long. I'm starting to get those tingles. Where honestly, I think we are going to do something very, very special, even if we're not in the top 4. Now, I asked this on Twitter and on YouTube a couple of days ago, and I'm interested to see what you guys think. Do we make it to week 2 of the finals? Do we make a preliminary final? Can we go toe to toe, make it all the way to the grand final? Very interested to hear what your thoughts are, because I'm very hopeful. I'm a very optimistic person, but I also think at the same time we're on a streak. We're on a streak, and I don't think that we should underestimate how important that hot streak is, how important our form is. And to be honest, I think, we're facing the Dolphins at the right time. And I know people are going to say, it's up in Bundaberg. I don't think that's a big issue, facing them in Bundaberg. It's one of those challenges that we're going to face, but I think we'll do it well. I mean, Warriors put 32 points on them. If the Warriors can put 32 points on them, I think that the Bulldogs attack can do just as well, if not better. All Things Bulldog has mentioned, Gus has assisted every player to find a home elsewhere. That's the family club legacy. Look, I agree. I think well said. I think very, very well said. Brian Dibbs mentioned Sexton's defense is way better than Hutchinson. Hutchinson had the second most missed tackles in the NRL when he was playing, only after Reid, who is a hooker, and Hutch defends on the edge. Excuse me. Thank you, John Sard. He's given another super chat. Bulldogs Premiers 2024. Brother, I am praying. I'm praying that we see the Bulldogs can you imagine the Doggies in a 2024 grand final? Like Belmore, like Sydney will not know what hit it. If the Bulldogs are in a grand final, Yani, I can't tell you what I don't know what's going to happen, but it is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. Mohamed Sharif mentions all the momentum is with the Bulldogs. They'll be hard to beat with Salmon and King still to come back 100%. One thing that Moot FM has mentioned is that we are building to be the team that dethrones Penrith like we dethroned the mighty Immortal Dragon team. That's a very good point. And as you say that, Moot, Dibbo enters the chat. He brings the goodies with him. Thank you very much, Dibbo. Very, very much appreciated.
I was actually watching the podcast from the cafe, down the road, and did I hear he had ball tingles that the Dogs are about to make the finals?
I am. Oh, bro, I honestly can't tell you how excited I am. I mean, and as we were saying...
how long has it been since the Dogs last made the finals? 8 years?
2016. So, 8 years. It's been a long time.
I can't believe it for such a club. 8 years.
Yeah.
Like, who's playing this joke on us?
But, I mean, we were talking about momentum. We were talking that it's all about momentum and it's all about growth, and that the Bulldogs are on a bit of a hot streak. And that's why I think we'll be very, very hard to defeat. What are your thoughts on that, Dibbo?
Yeah, after Melbourne I think I told you this before, off air, Elmo, after the Storm got rolled by the Dragons in Melbourne, I said, because at one stage I thought Penrith Melbourne grand final, but then after they got rolled, I thought, okay, Penrith versus a lotto now, so anyone can make that grand final. And Canterbury has beaten some of those top 4 sides. I think they've beaten 2 out of the 4 this year, and they've gone very close to beating the other 2. So certainly not beyond them, honestly. And they narrowly lost against the other sides. I just think there's a 4-point gap between them and Cronulla. Is that right?
Yeah, there is.
4 points?
No, so it's 2 points.
2.
Their for and against is much, much better than ours.
Well, you probably got to hope for... It's a long shot, but you got to probably hope that St. George upsets them down in Wollongong next week. That's probably, there.
I'll be honest, I don't see the even though they beat the Titans 44-0, I don't actually see...
That surprised me.
The Sharks... look, it did, but I think that the Titans went in a little bit cocky, I thought, and they thought they were going to roll over them. But similarly, I think that the Sharks are still flat track bullies. When they're put under any pressure, they can't match it. That's what I think. I know it's harsh, but that's genuinely what I think.
They still got their half to come back, so maybe, just maybe, he's been rested at the right, well, not intentionally, but he's maybe had a stint off at the right time of the season. So when he comes back, it could be a nasty surprise for a lot of other teams. He's not in the eye at the moment of other sides. So he's kind of like the forgotten man, Nico Hines, at the moment. He's been pretty much put on the shelf, forgotten about. But when he comes back, he might bring his repertoire of bag of tricks that everyone's forgotten about. So it could count in Cronulla's favour. And then again, I could also be wrong.
No, but if would you think he's just going to come back and just kill it automatically? Like that's my
no.
That's my thing, right?
You need his team to lift. They did against the Gold Coast, but you need his teammates to lift. But I just feel like he's been put on the shelf. He's forgotten. And then when he comes back, it might be a nasty surprise for everyone else. I do think they've taken a hit. At the first 13 rounds, we thought, they could be in the mix here for the grand final appearance. But I think they've slid down to probably about fourth or fifth, probably fifth in the pecking order, to be honest. I know they got Roosters at third in the pecking order. I've got Canterbury just behind them at the moment. They're one apiece. The only reason I got Canterbury just behind them is that last meeting both sides had, and
that was in Gosford in really poor weather.
Yeah, so you can't really, but just behind them. You aren't too far, just behind.
I just want to read something out. I found this really funny from Omar Ohayek. He said, "Dibbo, you can't leave this bloke on the podcast alone. He had me so hyped. I nearly bought grand final tickets because I was talking up the Dogs."
What do you mean? After St George beat Melbourne, the Dragons fans wouldn't have bought grand final tickets. Come on.
Oh, man.
You guys should have already had your grand final tickets after you guys sat in the 8 about 3 months ago. You should have had them bought then.
Look, to be honest, I don't know if we make the grand final. I'm not saying we don't, but it's one of those things like I just think we've got momentum. I think we have a lot of momentum, and the only team that could probably shut us out is someone like Panthers. Look, I know, wallah. Everyone's going to hate me for being too optimistic, but I genuinely think that our attack is going to keep getting better, and our defense is where it needs to be for the finals. Just up the top there, bro. But we're playing at the level of a top 4 team. We're not there in the top 4, but we're playing at the level of a top 4 team. That's what I reckon.
All right. Sorry, I missed the opening credits of the podcast, but it was good to just not rain in on your parade for once.
Nah, bro. You know what you do, bro? You are the best. That's what you are. You are the best host. And you know what? Even though, let me tell you,
I actually extended an invite today to the, the festivities have been happening a lot on Burwood Road lately. So I actually tried to get the owner of the Burger District to come down and appear on the podcast with us, former Lebanese international Ahmed Elias. But I think he's probably still flipping burgers at the moment because he hasn't replied to my message. Either he's seen it and he's just like, nah, stuff that, or just hasn't had time to look at it. So we'll get him on soon, hopefully.
We have heaps of guests lined up. We have some really, really exciting people coming on. I'm
just going to touch on what John Sardi said. It's such a strange one. I don't know what to say because the Dogs really, really, honestly, I don't think most people have worked out the secret formula. They got a small forward pack. Not overly small, but they got some small bodies in there. And you think the big forward packs would have bashed them. But it hasn't happened at all. It's just left me speechless, to be honest.
All right, so
I'm not speechless. I'm still trying to work it out.
So, all right. So let me then ask you this, right? Let me ask you this: against the Dragons, right? You guys have a much bigger forward pack than us, right? You are
not mobile at all. The only one that made a dent against you guys, besides Leiloy out wide, was Jack DeBellin up the middle.
He was really good.
I still think to beat Canterbury, you got to do what DeBellin did and hit it up the guts with vigour. Not like Blake Laurie or Michael Milo type.
No, but you know what? Even though they were running up, they were hitting hard, even when they got to the 20, and this is one thing that we pointed out on the podcast, and I swear to God, I was watching the game with my hardcore Dragons supporter wife, and I asked her from the beginning of the game, I said, all I wanted to do was to just pay attention, right, to the amount of pressure that we put on the kickers, on the opposition kickers.
Yep.
If you go back and watch that game, Josh Curran, Kikau Mani, almost every single time Hunt or Flanagan were taking a kick, there was some type of pressure on the kicker. And what I realized that did,
hands down, has to be,
was it absolutely destroyed their ability to get the kick where they needed to be. To get the kicks and to trouble Fox, Kiraz, they just couldn't do it, and that was because of the pressure.
See that, what you said? For every team, that should be a non-negotiable.
I agree with you.
Non-negotiable.
I agree with you.
Like it is, if first graders, and there's a lot of players, I don't know if it's down to fatigue or something, but a lot of teams are slackening off. Canterbury pressures the kickers better than anyone else in the comp this season so far.
It's our fitness.
It's a non-negotiable, and that's another non-negotiable. The team's fitness should be first and foremost. You know, as you hit the paddock and all that, before you even worry about ball work and skills and all that.
Yeah, look, I agree with you. And that's why I think, you know, when you look at Travis Tuma and the amount of work that he's done with the team, you know, it feels like, I know there's a court case happening or whatever, but it kind of feels like what Travis Tuma did last year and what he's been doing this year is he's revolutionized the team. Like, for us to be so fit, like you look at, it blows my mind, right? You look at Harry Hayes. Harry Hayes has played 3 games and was a winger centre in his juniors. In the juniors, he's a winger centre. He's playing as a replacement prop. On the weekend, he played 38 minutes. He ran for almost 150 metres, and I think he made something like 27 tackles.
I think he's Sam Hughes' clone.
Bro, how does that happen? Like, if the whole team isn't in a state of real positivity, real forward momentum and success, for me, it's like that just doesn't happen with a junior. Unless he's an absolute freak.
I'm going to probably rain on your parade there. It is the St. George Dragons. If anyone noticed the Dragons' defence on the weekend,
bro,
it was quite stationary.
I actually want to disagree with you.
It was very stationary. It is very poor, to be honest. Very poor defence. They wait for the players to arrive to them. So they're pretty much giving, before any impact's made, they're giving an easy 8-9 metres. And that's without, that's not also including the post-contact metres where your players are probably going to carry them for another 5 or so metres. So, yeah, very disappointing from a Dragons perspective. And it was just 2 contrasting style of defences. One was up and in, the other one's just wait for you to arrive at me. Not a good style of defence.
I'm actually going to disagree with you there. I think you're too harsh on your team. I think...
I'll just point out how the defence was. What's so harsh about that?
No. I think that had the Dragons versed anyone, and I'm not joking, anyone from 6 to 17, that night on Kogarah, they would have won. I'm not even joking.
I think you just shat on the Dragons 6 to 17.
No. Hang on a second. I actually think you also would have beat the...
If you want to be in the business end of the season, don't worry about 7th or 8th or 13th
I agree
or
with
15th.
you. I agree with you.
You got to be beating first.
No, but in context,
or in the top 5.
But in context, there's only maybe 2 or 3 teams on the night that wouldn't have defeated the Dragons. And I reckon that on that night, the Dragons would have defeated a lot of teams. Bro, they played for 80 minutes. Sure, we did put on a lot of points. But in the second half, we only scored 1 try. In the second half, we only scored 1 try.
Yeah, but you saw home and hose. Fair income. Stop being... Stop trying to downplay. And Kiraz dropped the ball. He should have scored.
Look, we did. We left 3 tries out there. Kick out, Tracy, Kiraz.
Defense is horrible. Dogs, I'll tell you now, the Dogs played most of their territory in the Dragons' half. They were probably doing 60-plus metres a set. The Dragons were probably doing about just over half of that. Look, so there was a big difference. I was there observing. You could tell the dominance was on one side. Like 28-10, maybe... You know, obviously Canterbury cost themselves a few tries, maybe some scrambling with the Dragons. And, Canterbury's attack is still a work in progress. You know, they saw a lot of improvement on that, which is a good sign for you guys anyway. Because if it doesn't happen this year, it should definitely happen by next year. You know, so he's rolling towards a complete package. So... Look,
you know what blows my mind?
Elmo's trying to make out he beat a decent side on the weekend. No chance. I don't even know how they beat Melbourne, I'll be honest here. So.
What always blows my mind about the Bulldogs every single week is we have one of the smallest... We pretty much don't have any real established props other than Sam Hughes, and he's only playing his 25th game. We still manage, usually, to run more meters than teams with fully established prop.
I don't even look at Sam Hughes as a 25 game. I actually look at him like he's played about 100 games.
Bro, he's going to be excellent when he gets to 100. He's only 22, 23 years old. But look...
How much is your second rower played? Preston's? About 20?
No, he played like 8. I think he played 18 last year and he's played about 13 this year. So
he's played about 30?
Yeah,
That's
30,
another guy you look at
yeah.
him, he's played 100 games. How good is that, Canterbury fans?
But Preston's a freak.
Honestly, that's phenomenal.
Preston's a freak.
And Connor Tracy at the back, like, you know, how many games has Connor Tracy played in his career? 90? 80? 70? He hasn't played much.
He hasn't played many, no, he hasn't.
You know, but you think he's a custodian of 200 games or something the way he goes?
Well, we are the least experienced team in the competition.
Your captain's how old? 24, 23?
23, yeah. Played 100 plus games.
Guy's a baby.
Yeah, he is. No, I agree with you.
Name me a 23-year-old captain.
Look, I'm telling you, what Serraldo has done with the team, it needs to be studied by someone like Benji, by, you know, even Shane Flanagan. I know.
No, not worry about that. I say for the struggling sides, the Canterbury defence is a blueprint,
Yeah.
of way of getting yourself out from the doldrums, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of clubs should look at that up and in. Tigers can't defend for their life. Like, they can attack well, but, I mean, they can break down pretty much any side with their attack, but their defence is just puts them on the back foot. And you know what? Canterbury's defence puts them on the front foot. It's pretty much defence turning into attack. You know, they've worked with what they got at the moment. I know a lot of people disagree with me. I mean, might disagree with me here, but the Fox, he's just a weapon. Like, in situations where your attack's not your greatest threat for the team across, people like him are an absolute asset. For me, he still is the best finisher in the game. There's tries like, for example, that Kogarah spilt on the weekend that Fox would have finished off with his extra pace. He's just got that natural ability. I mean, even some tries, like some teams will make a break, and it's great he's got him in your team because he'll swamp the players that will go on and to score, and he'll stop them or force them elsewhere. So,
look, I think
I know a lot of people just look at stats and think, but Fox did a run 250 metres or 200 metres. Not necessary in his situation. He's there for a reason. His pace is his asset, and his finishing is his asset. So, I think he's good to have in the team. I wouldn't worry about, I'm sure if a side kicked the ball 15 times to you in that game, you're going to have 200 return metres. I'll just, again and again, there's more to this game than just stats. So, look, Fox, I'd have him there. I know I had doubts of him in the last couple of months, how good everyone else was going, but I can just see his value. I wouldn't get rid of him, to be honest. He brings a lot.
Look, I think, and we've said this before, what Fox brings to the Bulldogs is more than just on the field, even though he's excellent on the field, but off the field, he was here in the poor times, and I think he deserves to be here in the good times. And it's not like you've got a crappy winger there. You still have one of the fastest wingers in the game.
There's nothing crappy about him.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it's just because everyone saw Skelton making 300 metres and Blake Wilson making 200 metres and Kogarah's making 200 metres, but they weren't even scoring. They weren't even finishing off anything. Canterbury winning scrappy games. There's more to it than just stop looking at to return metres.
And I think I
could take you 20 down me half scoots and make myself 150 metres and add the 10 kick returns, and I'm up to 250 metres.
I think what I think is also important to remember is that as we get into the finals, having that finals experience is invaluable. Having a winger or a player in the team that's played finals, like Fox, who's played so many grand finals.
Premiership winner.
He's got the capability, he's got the energy, especially in the finals when you need someone that has that energy just to give you that extra bump of sort of motivation. You cannot go wrong.
You got players there that have played in those pulsating games. Kurt Mann's played in a few as well.
For sure. Oh, how good was he on the weekend?
Salmon's played in some. I know, some people don't really have the top opinions of him. For Fox, for example. Birdo's been there.
Kick-out.
Kick-out.
Marnie was in the 2022 grand final.
You got at least half a dozen. Fantastic.
That's why I think people are underestimating us when it comes to the finals. We have experience.
What an assembly. They assembled that team in 2 years. How good's that?
And you know what? People forget that Cameron Serraldo was assistant coach for 3 grand finals. 2020, the one they lost against Melbourne. 2021, they won. And then 2022, they won. So Cameron Serraldo has the insights on how to manage a team in big finals matches. And I'm sure I'm sure Ivan's the coach, but I also know that Cameron Serraldo will have a lot of tricks up his sleeve as to how to manage the team. So again, I know I am overly optimistic. I know that, but I have a feeling that the NRL is not going to know what hit it. And a lot of teams are going to be, they're going to be sort of standing there holding their...
I think they're already on notice, so I wouldn't now. I think they've been on notice for Canterbury for the last 2 months, to be honest. They realise it's not a fluke. So
It's definitely not a fluke. It's definitely
just
definitely not a
curious
fluke.
to see how it's going to happen in the finals. Everyone think, because everyone's came with this. I got a feeling everyone's got the same attitude. It's the finals, and Canterbury's going to fold. They're not going to keep up. That's, I don't think they're going to. A lot of opposing fans, other teams, they think Canterbury will slip up, but there's nothing to suggest they're fluking it.
Yeah.
But they just got to keep that intensity, that same sort of defence. You can't win them all, but I mean, name me any game this year that Canterbury's been thrashed. Like if you want to call that scoreline the first round of the season. But don't even count that.
But we're the only team that hasn't had more than 30 points. We've actually only
haven't been thrashed at
we
all.
haven't. Yeah, that's
They've
right.
been in every single game,
that's right.
basically. So I think any team that plays them in the finals is going to be in for a torrid time. So, whoever gets them.
But I like us. I like people underestimating us, flying under the radar.
I wouldn't underestimate them anymore. It's absolutely silly. And any side that underestimates them or thinks that they're going to fold deserves to lose to them in the coming weeks and in the finals as well. Absolutely deserves to lose to them.
So I want to ask you a couple of questions, right? How was your experience at Kogarah with the Doggies fans? By the way, great work on the vlog. I loved it. It was a really popular video with all our fans. And everyone's asking, can someone update us on, and Samira Williams asks, can someone update us on how The Bachelor went at Jubilee? Always been a place of romance, Kogarah Oval. So, firstly, how was the atmosphere in the game?
I've been over the years to footy games with Canterbury fans, and it's actually quite changed. I remember going back. I think we knocked out Canterbury in that 2001 final series. So I remember I had a bunch of Lebanese thug fans, females by the way, come and grab my flag and break it in front of me.
Jamie Tisdale saying, "Pimp my niece, host Dibbo."
Yeah, I'll get to that soon. Anyway, so once upon a time. I remember that day, had my flag taken, broken by some girls. It was hilarious. I watched two girls probably come up to my chest and grab my flag and break it. And then down to the train station, Canterbury fans not happy and obviously lash out at some Dragons fans getting on the trains. But fast forward, and I think that generation, as they've gotten older, either don't come to the games or they become more placid or now their parents or grandparents, whatever you want to name it. But the generation now... And it's been like that for the last few years. Canterbury fans are probably, I'll tell you what, they're the best behaved fans. They're good for banter. Also, along with the Dragons fans, the best looking fans. Mate, the hotties on Kogarah on Saturday.
Calm down.
Anyways, they're good fun to go to the games with. Honestly, like hospitable, look out for everyone, even opposing fans. So it was a great experience. Very vocal. Passionate to the core. I'll probably put them up there in the top two fans in the game. Probably top one, to be honest. I mean, Dragons fans don't spend on their team. They're a bit stingy, I can say.
There was a lot of passion. There's a lot of, bro, like the amount of shit that I copped from Dragons fans on Twitter, on Facebook, on Insta. Just
keyboard warriors. Tell them to
it was
if
fun.
they want to put their fingers where their mouth is because they're keyboard warriors.
It was fun. They
would go to the game, support their team, and also spend on their team. Because you know what? Canterbury's merchandise, it sells out pretty quick.
There's no merchandise. I've been looking for a hoodie, the Bulldogs hoodie, for 4 weeks. 4 weeks, I could not find it. Then when I went to Belmore, I actually spoke to the lady that looks after the merchandise, and she said that we won't be getting any more of those hoodies until November. We've run out of all the allocations.
I just want to point out, don't worry about Burwood Road, Belmore. The party actually started outside on Railway Parade, going up and down Carlton.
That was hectic.
So we had carloads of youth or teenagers or even adults. On the utes. So you had people standing on roofs, people standing on the back trays, and they're just waving their flags, and the cops were standing on the corner, but they didn't even care the cops were there because the cops did absolutely nothing, So the party was already started there before they even got to Burwood Road in Belmore. We went to go to get some Chinese afterwards in Beverly Hills. I think the queue to turn right onto King George's Road from Stony Creek Road must have been back about maybe 600-700 metres at least, and the beeping was non-stop. And this is probably about an hour after the game, so it was insane.
Who stood out for you for the Dogs?
That day,
the players, in the game.
I think Toby Sexton had his best game of his career. That's an honest statement.
Yeah, you think better than against the Broncos?
Kickout was a menace. Yeah, definitely. I think it was so controlled. He was that, I think he was really controlled and reserved. He didn't play out of his skin, and it was his best game of his career. He was just so measured. Your captain, without even being dangerous, his presence was felt. Kiko had a good game. He was a menace. He's always a menace against us. Your forwards were great. Reid Marnie was, till he got injured, was killing us up the middle, I thought. Was sort of the way he was dictating play.
I thought his kicking game, he made a couple of kicks. I thought they made a big difference. They really, really turned the Dragons
just the
around.
way he was smart, dictating play up the middle, and he's only a hooker. Kiraz had a strong game.
249 metres.
The other centre, Sherry. There was no bad performances from your team, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just the whole team was humming. Yeah, the whole team was humming.
Who ended up getting man of the match?
I think it was Toby Sexton.
Oh, so I don't even know who got. I just thought that was his best career game because it was just so measured. Didn't play it out of his skin. He did. I thought it was just a controlled game. I really liked that. It was controlled. He didn't even need to play it out of his skin. That's what you want.
Jamie Teasdale's mentioned Sherry, Burton, and Sexton. Look, I think they're the three. Burton. I still hear people say, speaking to a few people, Burton still deserves a chance at centre. People just don't get it.
No,
Burton is a fantastic six.
The way that team's playing this year, so he just now fits into, he just fits in part of the jigsaw. He's at 6. That's where he is. That's where it's working for the club. At other teams, he might not be a 6. But at Canterbury, the way things are going, he is a 6. And it's worked absolutely perfect. The chemistry's all there.
Bro, I disagree. I think that even at other teams, like there are many teams that could do with a big boot like Burton's.
It's not about his boot. I'm just saying the style they play.
But
they might be negative for him. It's not him. It's them. That's what I'm trying to point out.
But I'm saying for
It's their
example.
style.
But as a six in the competition, I think he's one of the best 6 in the competition at the moment.
Well, he gets chosen in the Origin team, doesn't he?
He does,
Yeah.
and I think that people need to, that people need to really understand just how important Burton is to the Bulldogs in the 6th position. The early passing, like for example, I'll tell you something. Every time Burton passes early, and Kikau has a good game. And he was passing early against the Dragons. He was getting the ball early to Kikau, and Kikau was absolutely making his presence felt.
Yeah, he's a strong runner
He's
out
a
wide.
very strong
He's
runner.
one of the best fringe second rowers. I like that he's a wide second rower.
I feel like
He just needs the players.
He's starting to get back to that early form he had earlier
He
in
needs
the
the
year.
players to run off him more. Or maybe it's more him that he pushes the pass sometimes. He doesn't need to.
He does push the pass, and I
Or
feel
he
like
loses it, or he could provide a better pass, I find.
sometimes I think he does. But Burton for me was massive. But Kurt Mann, I thought Kurt Mann.
Anthony, how good was that try up the sticks?
But he troubled them. He troubled the Dragons. He troubled you guys a lot.
Good shout, Anthony. He deserves a shout out.
Great shout, Anthony Shoma. It was.
I just want to go back. I'll tell you something funny about that. We had the proposal happening behind us. Some aunt was sussing out the school. It turns out, I'll tell you something strange. It turns out that guy's a school teacher. My sister teaches at the same school because we were watching the footage and my sister goes, "Oh, hang on a sec. That's Anthony so-and-so." She goes, "What's he doing in the background?" I'm like, "Oh, you better watch this."
That was so funny.
So I haven't had a chance to speak to my sister and say, "Look, Anthony, I hope you're watching, mate. So you and your mates. So, I wonder how that went down. Because if you weren't going to take her number down, she's got 2 houses, mate. So if you weren't going to take her number down, we're going to punch you into a pulp." Anyways, he did in the end.
Oh man, what a honestly such a small world, and just the way it all just happened it was quite incredible. Now, I want to talk about obviously something that happened during the game.
Oh yeah, I'll wait till afterwards to give some shout outs.
Yeah, let's just. So right now, our latest update, 7:50. The hearing has adjourned, so the panel can deliberate. And apparently,
what's this about?
This is for they're at the judiciary, right?
For
the bite.
For
Kyle Flanagan, yeah, biting on Crichton.
I'll tell you now. I think he still has to get suspended 4 to 6 weeks. Even though Critter was giving him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation there.
Yeah.
He still needs to get 4 to 6 weeks. I know he was in his face. I know he pushed it. I mean, if he's done this, I haven't seen if I haven't seen the footage. Like, when I mean do that, maybe, has he?
He bit down on his nose and his nose stretched because it was caught in between his mouth guard and his
down
teeth.
like that and the action.
He has bit down.
Yeah, that's right. So he has to get suspended.
Come on, man.
Yeah, but but the aggressor there was playing the victim, I find, because he was the one that instigated the whole thing. He's bloody. What is he doing there?
Come on, bro. It's footy. That's what you do. You get in close. You watch every single game. That happens about 20 times a game.
What, like this?
Every single game. Watch it, bro.
Like this?
Watch it. You watch it every single game. And I went back and I saw every single game.
Mouth
that
to
happens.
mouth.
Bro, it happens.
I guarantity it does not happen.
It happens.
I wouldn't want to give a player mouth-to-mouth resuscitation.
Pay attention.
I don't think anyone does.
Bro, he wasn't in his face. Kyle's trying to agitate. He pushes, what's it called? He pushes Critter's head into a weird position. Yeah. And then Critter is still in the motion of trying to hold him down. And then, Flanagan bites out. So
But the footage is his head's flat on the ground. The other guy's like pressed down on him.
Yeah, but what's Flanagan doing with his hand? Go watch the footage. He's bumping.
He's trying to push him off.
Yeah, he's not pushing him off. He's trying to elbow him out of the way.
But why is Critter's nose like literally into his face?
Because he gets pushed into that position.
So he's pulled him down onto him?
He's pushed him with his hands, trying to elbow him out of the way.
I guarantee no player goes out of the way to do that. All right, when you see heads come down, it's normally forehead on forehead.
Bro, listen. What's it called? B Massive's also mentioned that Flano did the same thing to Tracy in the same game. And there is footage of it, and I've put it up on our Twitter.
Yeah,
right?
All right, where's the footage?
It's up on our Twitter. Go onto X or whatever.
I saw those photos. Someone put up the photos. I just want to make a mockery of who put up the photos. Someone put up the photos now.
Bro, it's part of the wrestle. That's what the wrestle is.
Yeah, no.
I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying.
But it's funny somebody went and made a still because some of those stills they took were absolutely embarrassing.
No, if you see the video, it's the same thing. Bro, you can't tell me that you can justify Kyle Flanagan biting.
I don't. That's what I'm pointing out.
Even though he had it in his face,
I'm just pointing out the instigator is playing the victim.
Who's the instigator?
Your captain.
Oh my God, bro! How can you say I just want
to point out Newton's law. For every reaction, you get an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, and for Kyle biting, he's gonna get suspended.
Of course, that's what I've already pointed out. Bro, he has to get suspended.
Buzz, and all his stupid mates from Fox Sports have gone out there and they're trying to say, oh, it's all Crichton's fault. Bro, when it happened to Wyden, they shat all over Wyden.
Of course.
They gave me this bullshit just because Kyle Flanagan's a white boy and his dad's their mate. They're going to go out there and talk shit. It's full of bias. Buzz Rothfield is a joke. And Buzz, if you're a man, you come onto this podcast and you tell us what your beef is with the Bulldogs. Why are you always talking shit?
But I'm just going to point out something. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to get suspended. I'm just pointing out your captain instigated it.
How can you say he instigated it? It's part of the wrestle.
To put his head right in
it's part of the wrestle. Go watch the footage. It's part of the wrestle.
I don't understand how it head into
Bro, go watch the footage. Let's go watch the footage. I'm telling you, go watch the footage and then talk. You can't just say,
I don't think anyone that's played footy's gone out of their way to stick their head into a player.
Bro, it's part of the wrestle. It's not like he actually meant to stick his head in his face. He was getting in close. You watch how many times it happens a game. Bro, this weekend, let's do a tally. You know what, guys? Keep us honest. This weekend, Dibbo and I, we're going to keep a tally of how many times we see the same thing happen and the same wrestle happen. And I'm telling you, it's going to happen about 10 times a game from each team because that's the way the wrestle happens. And this guy wants to talk, oh, you instigated it. Come on. It's a load of crap, bro. Don't see and try and defend. Bro, Flanagan, he was frustrated. Yeah. All right? He was frustrated that the team that he left and didn't want him has beaten him twice. Right? He couldn't do anything in attack. He was playing poorly, and the Dogs were absolutely suffocating them in defense. And then he thought it was a smart thing to do to put Crichton off his game. So he bit him in the schnoz. Come on. Don't.
But the footage is his flat head on the ground. He's in a helpless position.
How is that helpless? He bit him. I don't understand why this is an argument. He bit him. He went, that's all there is to it.
What? I'm actually glad he did that. I'll be honest here.
Yeah, sure. I'm glad.
Actually glad.
Yeah, why? Because he doesn't play for you guys for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, all right. How long have I been asking for him to be in reserve?
No, you have Marsh, bro. If Marshki's in, I reckon you win 3 of the next 4 games. If Marshki's in,
he's not in though.
Is he injured?
I'll tell you how.
Is he injured?
No, he's not. He's back now, but he's actually going to name his son in the 6 still.
Yeah, but that's because he's thinking. That's because he's cocky and he thinks he's not going to get suspended.
I looked at the lineup before I got here. Bird is on the bench, but I'd rather Bird on the bench and Marshy straight into the 6. I'd love to see Marshkey and Hunt play together.
I think it'll be a great combo if Marshke and Hunt to play together. And honestly, I reckon that they could do a number on the Sharks. They could probably do a number on the Titans.
I think the Sharks are a bit out of their depth, to be honest.
Bro, the last time they beat you guys, it was 20-10, and you guys were a lot worse than you are now.
Cronulla played poorly that day.
That is Cronulla when you put any amount of pressure on them.
Yeah, but then if they play poorly, you should beat them. St George don't have it.
No, but it's not that they played poorly in and of themselves. They played poorly because they came up against a fairly decent Dragons team. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the things aren't exclusive. Yeah, all things Bulldogs mentioning, it happened in less than 1 second. Elmo, it happens 20. I agree. These types of things happen often, right? You can't, just because they're pointing it out now, right, in and of itself, and Buzz is being a doo-doo head. Sorry, guys, I don't want to, swear.
Look, Buzz coming out and saying that Critter deserved to be suspended was...
Buzz is a piece of shit.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Buzz is,
Yeah, that was stupid.
The thing about Buzz is I think he's been pretty good recently in some of the stuff that he's saying, but clearly he's looking out for his mate and his mate's
Buzz
son.
gives you 2% good stuff, 98% dribble. So that's about it.
I just want to go, Brian Dip saying it's actually a wrestling tactic. Applying weight to the head with the opponent's head is very hard to get up from. I was New South Wales freestyle wrestling champion under 18 yonks ago. I really appreciate that.
How many people did you kill on the mat?
And then Mark Jessup saying, "G'day, Bluey and Dibbo. I'd be very upset if Toby Sexton left the Dogs. I've been impressed with him." Absolutely. Look, I agree with you.
It's good for you guys that the Broncos want him. I hope he sticks it out with you guys as well. He came down last year, if you remember. Apparently, he drove down in the middle of the night with his father.
Yeah, that's right.
So he's built up. He's been there for the tough times. He did his stint in reserve grade.
Yep.
I mean, if Brisbane offer him massive bucks, it's hard to retain. Even Gus will probably tell him on your bike, I'm not going to get in your way.
Yeah, I don't think he's not going to pay overs for anyone. Dom mentioned Elmo, bite Dibbo. Dibbo instigating this. I'm about to bite him if he keeps going. Abdul Fenges mentioned, yes, it is part of the wrestle, but at the same time, Crichton was on top of him, trying to kind of show him who's boss up in his face, which there's nothing wrong with this part of the game. Look, that's the thing.
No, nothing wrong. What I'm saying is, he got the reaction. That's what I'm pointing out.
Yeah.
He got the reaction, but it is an over-top reaction, and it didn't deserve obviously...
You can never buy it. You can never buy it.
Personally, I think they might give him 4 to 6 weeks. On a personal level, I mean, I'd like if they gave him about 3 months, so it pretty much rules him out for next year as well. So,
nah,
find it hard to make his way back into our team.
This dissident's called Buzz, Boozy Buzz. I love that name. That's a mad name. Boozy Buzz, if you're watching this podcast, come on, talk to us, come live. Let some of the Doggies fans ask you questions. I think that'll be excellent, just to get stuff out there.
I think we just need to drive down over Tom Ugly's bridge, and we'll find him somewhere in the Shire.
Yeah, some pub. Yeah, as usual.
I think we'll find him at the Vinyl Room if that place still exists. It's for the oldies. Sorry if any oldies are watching this. I still love yous, man.
Oh, Jamie Teasdale, if you make top 4, Ciro has to get the coach of the year. He should get it now.
Jamie, I don't think he needs to make the top 4.
I reckon he gets it automatically.
I think he's pretty much done everything he can. It just comes down to whether Cleary gets that 4-peat or not. If he doesn't get that 4-peat, Ciro's definitely my coach of the year.
No, but I think that they give it out before the grand final, the coach of the year.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they give it out before the grand final. So,
well, they'll probably give it to him then.
Yeah, I think. Look, it's very hard to say that anyone else deserves it with the amount of stuff or the amount of improvement in the Bulldogs this year and what they're achieving, and they're on a hot streak.
I'd love to sit down and just decipher Penrith. How they built that team up. Obviously everyone says, Gus came, plonked himself here, this player, that player, and, so on. And then they managed to get, Cleary was there and they built a system around it. But I'd love to sit there and decipher which players decided they needed to let go, which players they decided needed to keep, and how they managed their salary cap. Because if you go back to the first grand final appearance from 4 years ago, not the premiership, the one they lost against Melbourne, if you remember, Josh Mansell the following week got told he was let go by Cleary. So, obviously he couldn't get in the way of Brian Dutto and, others. So I'd just love to sit down and then obviously do a contrast to how Canterbury built their squad as well, because Penrith were never down the bottom. They were sort of in and out of the finals when they started making the grand finals. Yeah. Whereas Canterbury for a prolonged period, 5 years, let's say they were down the bottom, 6 years.
We were down
Say
the bottom
5
since
years.
2017, bro.
Say
We were
say
down the
5
bottom
years.
for a long
Anyway,
time.
5 seasons. They were down the bottom, and they've gone from the bottom to on the cusp of a top 4. So I love to just sit there and decipher that. Maybe that's something for another week. But
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that I'd love to do a video on. I just want to mention something that All Things Bulldogs has said. Creepy Crawley and Buzz Slothfield are my favourite topics to talk about.
Buzz Slothfield.
Both attacked the
Love
club for
that, All
playing
Things.
Flano round 5 2022, saying we tortured him, then to drop him round 5 2023. We were 2 wins and 2 losses. Look, I 100% with you. Like, agree. You know, the media is inconsistent. Like, for example, that slimy journalist, what's his name? Bulldog Richie? Dean Richie. He said, it sucks to be the Bulldogs. They've bought all these guys. This was like in round 3 or something, and, you know, they lost to the Sharks and they
Isn't he
lost
meant
to
to
the
be a
Eels.
Bulldogs fan?
Nah, he's not. He's a Sharks fan. Pretty sure he's a Sharks
another
fan.
fraud.
He's an absolute fraud.
I actually, you know, there was a press release that I think the Dragons released that Flano had a chat to the Telegraph and he was telling him about the signings. And I had a go at Flano for always talking to the media, and then, you know, and then literally giving away everything.
Yeah, but this is what he gets in return.
Yeah,
he gets
and then
their undying support.
Yeah, no, and then he talks to the media, and those guys, everyone pretty much knows what his intentions are. So by the time he tries to sign a player, everyone knows his intentions, and he's left with crumbs. So
Yeah.
I had to go at him for that, for doing that.
Yeah.
And then in the process, I had to go at him for not dropping his son when he dropped Tyrell Sloan. So then I had the whole Flanagan, like not the whole Flanagan family, but I had a few Flanagan family members attack me on social media, basically. Not in a bad way, but pointing out how great his defence was. And I just sat there flabbergasted saying, geez, he's a 5'8". Like, shouldn't he be more worried about his attack? Because he's absolutely got none. So, yeah. And you know what? And it's just, yeah. I mean, the reason why he's made no signings, because he's always opening his mouth to the Daily Telegraph or Fox Sports.
No, I'm with you, and it's a symbiotic relationship, right? They get information about the Dragons,
But he doesn't even know. They're backstabbing him.
What
He should have figured it out by now.
But they also come out and defend his son when he does stupid shit.
That's all
like
he
this.
gets in return. But all the leaks that happen, Flanagan's intending to sign, for example, Adam Fanua Blake.
But don't
or
forget-
Flanagan's intending to sign, for example, Connor Tracy. But none of that happened because everyone knew his intentions.
Yeah, but don't forget.
And then blindsided
He
him.
also owes the media a lot for downplaying what he did at the Sharks with the doping scandal. If it wasn't for the media, if it wasn't for his mates downplaying a lot of the shit that he did at the Sharks, a lot more rubbish would have come out. It was a lot worse than what we saw and what came out, right? And the NRL kept it under wraps. So, you know, the media have him by the balls. That's what I reckon.
Flanagan, how many weeks did he get? Send me on live. Somebody give me the good news.
Let me refresh it, see what happens.
I think it's bad news from other clubs' perspectives, but good news for me.
They haven't come out yet, so at 7:50, the hearing was adjourned so the panel can deliberate. I think he will be guilty.
You know what annoys me is they went out of their way to get a top-notch solicitor or whatever it is, Queen's Counsel or whatever, whatever they call them, the SC or whatever, for something that he's bit the guy on the nose. But for someone else that's touch and go, this is the Dragons club I'm talking about, in regards to other charges, they won't go out of their way to go get a solicitor to challenge a ruling, you know? Like, there's the nepotism laid bare for you.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
You know? And I don't know why he's so concerned. He's got about another 2 or 3 halves at the club that are better than his son. It's just nepotism the whole way. And if the club were fair income, they need to pull their socks up and pull Flanagan up. Honestly. He doesn't run the club. They run the club. That club is an absolute shambles. The management's been very poor for a long time. And it's going to be continued running by dinosaurs. And the nepotism is going to keep running through there. And they're going to go nowhere for a long time.
Just quickly.
Which is good news for Dogs fans.
Just very, very quickly, just want to mention, recently we hit 1,000 subscribers and we've opened up memberships to the channel. We've had a couple of new members. We've had Dylan and Mohammed join us as members, which we really, really appreciate. I have linked I have put the link. I've pinned it in the top of the chat. Look, what we ask, or what we sort of put it out there, is you pay $6.99 a month, and what it does is help us with the upkeep of the podcast. It's not It's not cheap to run a podcast, and honestly, it's not about us making money. I don't think we ever will make money off this. It's just about helping us pay for everything that we do. So if you are interested in becoming a member, feel free to click the link and become a member. You know, $6-7 a month. Honestly, it just helps us continue to pay for it, helps us produce content, helps us bring the guests on, and do a lot of the good stuff and continue to provide the content. If not, we love your support. We appreciate you guys being around. Just give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends and everybody who loves footy, because that's what helps us grow and that's what helps us continue to build the community. One of the other things that I would ask is, just keep in mind that if you do become a member, one of the things that we do provide is when we start getting guests on again, when we've got some lined up in the next couple of weeks, is we'll give you an exclusive opportunity to ask questions that we won't open up to the public. It's only if you're a member. As you can see, if you have a look at John Sard, he's got a little Bulldogs logo next to his name just to show that he's a member. And there are other perks that we're slowly building on as we sort of grow the channel. And we've got so much planned. Like we love the Dogs. We want to ride the wave of success. But also we were here when they weren't doing so well, and we didn't really know if they were going to do well. So we're just here. We're fans like you guys. We love talking footy. We really love and appreciate all your support. It means so much. Thank you so much for everything, guys. Now, I just want to see if the verdicts has come out.
Someone is telling me 6 weeks. I hope so.
No, there's no verdict yet.
I'm hoping for longer.
Oh, hang on. It just came out. The verdict is in. Kyle Flanagan has been found guilty of biting Stephen Crichton. The panel deliberated for 15 minutes before delivering their verdict. I would say, all right, guys.
Are you going to tell me the length? Like, come on.
They haven't said.
Can you see the anticipation on my face?
No. Guys,
I was doing this. Like,
spam it in the chat.
Give me the good news.
Spam it in the chat how long you think he's gone for.
Come on, gents.
Whiten got 3 weeks. I reckon he's going to get either 3 or 4 weeks. I reckon 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I just want to go a bit off topic. This week's junior week footy finals. I got a fair few mates. They got that coach team in the Canterbury comps. And if you want me to give you a shout out for your team or your kids' team, put in the comments. But I just want to give a shout out, firstly, to the Bankstown Bulls under 11s Division 1. Minor premiers this year, playing a preliminary final this year to make the grand, probably go straight in the grand final. So to Finch and his team, all the best. The next shout out I want to give is for the under 13s second division Barella Bears. They scraped into the finals, so I hope you guys can prevail this week. Same thing goes for the Barella Bears under 11s Division 2. Mazri and his team, good team. I hope you guys can make it all the way to the grand final. So I'm going to get down this weekend and watch some finals footy. Anyone's got their kids that play in any team's finals this week, put their team up. Love to give them a shout out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, if you can tell me where their venue is, if I got time, I'll actually pop down and have a watch as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's awesome. People are saying, Yak is saying 4 weeks. Tiger Lala's 5 weeks. Dylan, 4 weeks. Jamie Teasdale, 4 weeks. Abdul Fenj, he reckons 3 weeks. Brad, 2 weeks. Yeah, I reckon 3 weeks. Wyden was 3 weeks.
I'm actually praying that he's going to get 16 weeks. So, I'll be honest here. Honestly, I think the longest suspension is 21 weeks or something to Steve Linane for an eye gouge. This was a bite on the nose. Like, if you saw here, I think he detached his nose from the bottom. Did he end up needing plastic surgery? What happened there?
I think they were saying, but I actually think that because he pled not guilty, he will get more than 3. He will get an extra couple of weeks.
Even better.
Yeah, I reckon he'll get extra couple of weeks for pleading not guilty.
So can we, hopefully, everyone, just get together and start praying and let's just pray for 16 weeks. Something for Dibbo. Come on, guys, man.
Guys, come on. Make a prayer for Dibbo. That
something for Dibbo. Come on.
Time.
We're desperate here, man. The only few, maybe whilst he's at it, can you also make some prayers that Blake Laurie somehow doesn't rock up to the game?
Oh, man. So Flanagan's guilty, and we'll see how long he's going to get. I mean, it was obvious that he was guilty. It was only Buzz and his buzzed mates that were trying to say that he wasn't guilty. Tariq Ahmed's like, just deregister him. Look, I think Dibbo would love that. I think that's what Dibbo's
send him off to England.
Send him to England. Look, I agree with you. I think his dad should just be...
I actually, you know what? As much as how his dad somehow got the team on the cusp of the 8, there's quite a bit there. I'm not happy with him at all. Recruitment, because he dribbles onto the Daily Telegraph, the News Corp stations like the Fox Sports. So he's left himself short there because everyone seems to know his next move. And he's ended up with nothing. And the next thing is just the bias around his son. It's just nepotism, basically. So, he's got the playing group playing, but that's not going to be your team next year. Sorry. There's probably about a quarter of that team he should be moving on. I'd actually haul him into a review at the end of the season.
I think you will. Look, I think Shane Flanagan's a good coach. He probably doesn't want to make too many big changes so close to the finals. But Jamie Teasdale actually just shared something on our Facebook page, and he said, so they asked Kyle in the judiciary, his nose is in your mouth and your mouth guard and teeth come together at that point. Kyle responds, yes. And he says, you can see when his nose comes out of your mouth, it is being held back. We see his nose being compressed and released. Do you agree with that? No. What do you mean? You just said that his nose was in your mouth.
I'll tell you what's happened. They've actually rehearsed this with the solicitor before, and he's probably botched it on the way through. So that's what's happened, actually.
So he's got it. Chip 98 has asked a couple of times who makes the 8. Do you think I say the Dragons make the 8. I think they make the 8.
It just depends. Look, the Dragons got to win all 4, I reckon. I mean, they can probably get away with winning 3 out of 4.
If they win 3, they're on 32 points, which has historically been enough.
Yeah, but their forward against is horrendous. They need to win 3 of those games by 30-plus margins. I reckon the Cowboys and the Dolphins, depends on them. If they lose 2 each, or one of them loses 2, and the Dragons win, well, the Dragons realistically got to win more than... It depends. Look, if the Dolphins, it's probably... Well, it depends on how the Dolphins and the Cowboys go. The Dogs got the Cowboys again. They got the Dolphins. So I'll tell you what, I reckon the Dragons' destiny rests in the Dogs' hand. Being honest here. As much as the Dogs put a dent in their finals hope, but then the Dogs got the Dolphins, they got the Cowboys. Who else do you guys have?
Manly.
Manly, who else?
Warriors.
So even Manly, if Manly lose all 3 out of the 4, they could find themselves out.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't really been impressed with Manly. Like, all right, they got 29 points, but I don't know. Look, quickly, I want to mention quickly.
Yep.
Zata reckons that the Dragons won't make the 8, and why the Cowboys are safe is because they have a bye in hand in a couple of weeks, which is a great point.
So it's between the Dragons and the Dolphins.
100 and the Raiders.
Raiders
actually,
are hard.
Yeah, I think Raiders maybe they've left it.
It's hard. Late. They're 4 points adrift. 4 games to go.
Knights are only 2 points behind the Dragons, and they're 4 point.
Another bunch of frauds. I think they got a tough run, but the Knights, don't they?
Do they? I'm not sure. But I mean, in any case, I personally think that the Dragons have done enough to make the 8.
They got the Titans. They got to get past them. The Titans are going to be looking to bounce back. They got the tough game against Cronulla in Wollongong.
But they got Win Stadium, they play very good. The Dragons play well at Win, and I think they win at Win. That's what I reckon.
And then Parramatta, they got Parramatta away from home, and Parramatta only get up for 2 games the whole year. One's against Canterbury, and the other one's against the Dragons.
No, they get up against the Panthers as well.
Now they do. Before it was non-existent, going back 30 years.
Actually, let me tell you, I actually think the Dolphins may miss out.
You reckon? What's their run?
So they got us.
Yeah.
Then they got the Storm.
Yep.
Storm in Melbourne. Us at Bundaberg.
That should have been your home game.
It is a home game.
I'm actually living at you, Canterbury. How could you do that to me?
It's a very good, lucrative move for the Bulldogs financially. Then they have the Broncos at Suncorp. Yep. Then they have the Knights at McDonald Jones.
I'm trying to see what the verdict is. Has anyone got...
I'm following it. They haven't given us an update yet. But I reckon the Dolphins have a very tough run home.
I hope everyone's wrong. And add a 1 between the 1 and... add a 1 before the 4 and the 6. And then I think you're right. 14 to 16 weeks. I'll take that.
Tarek Townsend has let you guys go. And he's going to the Roosters next year. So I'm willing to pay for an Uber from Townsville to Kogarah for Townsend.
I reckon Cowboys fans celebrated when he was leaving.
Yeah, look, can I say something, Tarek? I want to ask you about the Cowboys. What happened against the Broncos? Like, I couldn't believe that the Broncos were able to smash the Cowboys so badly. Like, they played very well the last few... Not very well, but they played a lot better the last few weeks. And the Broncos were horrible. I felt like the Cowboys let the Broncos in. It wasn't that the Cowboys or that the Broncos played that well. That's my opinion. And guys, if you are here, if you've joined us new, please be sure to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It just really helps our channel grow. It helps us stay in the algorithm.
I want to ask, is anyone going up to Bundaberg this week? Anyone watching going up to Bundaberg?
Zata just giving us a super chat. Free Flano. No face, no case.
Are we raising money for Flano's miss match payments for getting suspended?
I think it's just we get him a gift. We get him, those glasses with the nose attached. We'll just give that to him and give it to him as a.
Or just get him a mask, Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter mask. I think that's what we should do. We should do that, man. We should buy a Hannibal Lecter mask and send it to the Dragons from the Kennel Podcast. I think. What do you guys think? Should we do that? Should we buy a Hannibal Lecter mask off like Amazon or Facebook or whatever and send it to the Dragons? What do you reckon?
Yeah, that should be a good one.
That'd be pretty funny. That'd be pretty funny.
Actually didn't. Yeah.
Zator, we actually hit 70 viewers at once. That is our peak. We've never hit 70 before, which is, really, really incredible. And we want to thank all of you for all your support.
Salmon back. So
so Salmon's back.
What's the who's made way for Salmon?
So Hot Boy has dropped out of the team for Salmon, which I think is a great move because what I've realized from Hot Boy is over the last 4 to 5 weeks, Hot Boy's only played like 16 minutes or 17 minutes. Yeah, like ridiculously small amount of time. And so I think it helps. It helps us have a more balanced bench. And I think Salmon was very, very good for us. He'll come on and he can come on, replace Kurt Mann, or maybe Haywood can go into 9 in place of Marnie. Salmon can go into lock. I just think it works overall a lot better than just having a person there to play 8 minutes. That's what I reckon. And then when King comes back, maybe I think Hayes probably drops out. And Curran comes to, so there's just a lot.
What a nice headache to have.
It's a wonderful headache for the Dogs. Like, to be honest,
Underhill almost made his debut on the weekend.
Yeah,
he's still got a chance.
Well, they re-signed Underhill. We re-signed Underhill for 3 years, which is incredible.
What a great headache. I read the sad news today that Jarrell Skeldon's off to the West Tigers. I know a few guys have pointed it out already.
It's
you know what? Credit to the Tigers. They made some good signings, I feel. I'm probably still lacking around the forward area. Tigers, I think, are way ahead of the Dragons for next year already. Dragons have made no signings at all.
Well, I mean, apparently they're in the running to sign a few players.
Like who? Name me.
Holmes.
No, I think Holmes doesn't even want to come there anymore.
Was he going to Roosters?
That's what I mean. It's a poison chalice at the Dragons. No one wants to go there.
So who?
And then the talk around Saifedi's gone quiet.
Yeah, I wonder what the situation
is. There you go.
Is.
There's a poison chalice there. I don't know if I don't think it's Flano. I think it's that club management. Yeah. There's something going on there which is just very, very strange.
All right. I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about...
Good question, Tiger. Who drops out for King when he comes back?
Oh, it has to be Harry Hayes.
Yeah, okay.
It has to be Harry. Because, I understand... I understand that he's been solid, but he's been there to do a job. He's done the job. And now our sort of leader of the pack comes back. Because you can't drop Hughes. You can't drop Moran. You can't drop Haywood. You drop Hayes, right? King starts on the bench, and then in a couple of weeks' time in the finals, Curran drops back to the bench, and King will start alongside Sam Hughes. So, that's it's unfortunate, but I think it is what it is. That's my opinion. Jim Beam is asking, can you join? What do you mean by join? Now, I want to talk about. Just very quickly, I want to talk about the damning photo that's come out about Latrell Mitchell. I'm sort of disappointed that this has happened while Latrell Mitchell's injured, but I have a few thoughts. Like for me,
yeah, I'm listening. Sorry.
How pervasive is this problem in our game? Firstly, the alleged, the alleged problems that or the alleged photo that came out about Trell Mitt, about him doing some naughty things. How big of a problem is it? And, I saw that Mitchell Pearce and Todd Carney were saying that the people that released the photo of Latrell Mitchell should be named and shamed, and that, these people are dangerous and they get away with murder, they get away with killing people's careers, things like that. I'm just sort of, I'm sort of not sure how I feel about it.
Look, sorry I've been a bit naive today because it was one of those days at work. All of Australia was relying on me, literally probably. But what's the latest on Latrell? So
he was found with a photo where he was leaning over a table and there was a white
I know that part, but guys, put your comments as well. Finch is on, so he's going to probably ask about Crichton. I already answered that question about Crichton Finch. So I lost unanimously probably, I didn't lose by 100% of the votes. I probably lost by about 150% of the votes using Steiner mathematics. So
anyway, you were
going to
wrong.
ask
Go
about
on.
the bite with Crichton. But back on topic. So what's happened today? Has he been stood or is already injured?
Nothing's happened. Apparently, they're investigating it. But, Anthony Mundine's offered his support. Mitchell Pearce has offered his support. Pearce and Totkani have come out and said these people...
Aren't Anthony Mundine and Latrell at war at the moment?
They've never been at war. The media wants to paint it that way. But
Yep.
I think Mundine just had some stern advice for Latrell. And everyone said, Mundine and Latrell are, at war. They're not at war. Mundine... has a very high opinion of Latrell. He's gone on record to say that on multiple podcasts.
Yep.
That he thinks very highly of Trail Mitt.
Can I point out something? Something happened with the Roosters a few months ago. Their players that quickly got thrown under the carpet.
Yeah.
What happens here?
But they were tested and they were clean.
So what happens with Latrell? If he gets tested and he's clean, does the same thing happen?
Yeah.
Is that a recent photo? Is it an old photo? Is it I'm not exonerating him here, but I'm just trying to use the same precedent that the Roosters players were afforded. We know some clubs are special compared to others and their players. So I just want to see some consistency here. So if some players are afforded special treatment, I think everyone else should be afforded the same special treatment in their National Roosters League. So, yeah.
Look, but for me, it goes before that, like before someone taking the photo, sending it. Yeah, I know it was in private, and I know you probably shouldn't have shared the photo, but my problem is, why are rugby league players doing this? How dumb do you have to be as a human being?
So, yeah. You know what it is? It's the boys, a lot of testosterone together. You're earning $600,000, for example, a year. Your job is to get up 5 days a week, train through the morning to the early afternoon. You go out there, you're the King Kong, you're the Mac Daddy, you're playing in front of 20,000, 30,000 fans. The girls want you. You can have a different girl every day. That's the sort of culture.
That's
how it
absolutely
is.
rubbish, though. I mean, it
is rubbish. I'm just telling you how it is.
I'm with you, but like Latrell,
yeah.
bro, I love Latrell. Like on this podcast,
the drug and party atmosphere sucks because it's only limited to the men. Have you seen the women?
No, I
women
haven't.
are on there. The women that are playing NRLW, it's starting to creep in there already. It's already there. It's also in the AFLW. B Massive has pointed out that the photo's 6 weeks old, so I dare say if they were probably to drug test him, he probably would come back negative. I mean, anyways, Brian's having a kick at me. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing, Brian. I'm just saying, just the whole culture in the NRL. Like, it's pretty much, a lot of it is euphoria. Like,
But see,
they think rules don't, come to you. Maybe some can't handle the pressure. So party drugs such as cocaine is their way of their release to feeling high, getting away from the lows.
Zata is saying, he's saying what happens in private should stay in private. Look, I'm sort of.
Well, you know what? He's still got to blame himself for putting himself in that position, especially around other people.
Yeah,
Of course, people are going to. That person's leaked the photo because he can make himself a quick $1,200 or whatever some journos offered him.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course.
But it doesn't excuse the fact that he's done it. And if he's doing this type of thing, if he's, it casts a lot of doubt around the character of the player. Like, look. I want to excuse him. I want to say he's young, he's dumb, this and that, blah 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 blah.
He is dumb.
It is dumb, but he's not
young anymore.
And
how old is he? 26, 27?
There's no excuses anymore for this shit.
He's been in first grade for 10 years, so there's no more excuses.
We need to get this shit out of the game. Like if we have young kids that look up to these guys and these guys are doing blow on the weekend, like. It doesn't make sense, bro. You're making so much money. People love you. People want to be around you. People just want to be in your orbit. And here you are doing something stupid like.
Agreed, Brian. These people should be the role models. So you know what? The NRL needs to. They need to go to extra length. They need to start handing out harsh penalties.
I agree.
Have no room, even if it means ending careers. You got to stamp this out of the game. They're going to take it away from the image of the NRL. It's been around for far too long.
100%. Mitchell Campion has just said, I work on the rail, zero tolerance for drugs. I don't get paid $1 million a year. Not hard to stay in line if you've got a job on the line. Bro, thank you. Thank
well
you.
Said.
Very well said.
What was that?
Khalili had Tim. I don't know how to say. In Lebanese, it means I want to keep your mouth, but it means like words well spoken. It's just really well said. Because straight out, I agree with you. At work, there is a zero tolerance for drugs. I work in the IT industry. If we ever found drugs, we've got in our contracts that at any time we can have random drug testing. So it's like there has to be accountability. And I'm not saying it just because it's Latrell. Like when Munster and Smith were given a slap on the wrist, Valentine Holmes given a slap on the wrist. Like we need to take a harsher stance as a game on this. Honestly, it's not just because of Latrell. I don't want Latrell to be the fall guy, and I hope Latrell isn't the fall guy. But I hope this is an incentive for the NRL to start thinking a bit more clearly about how they should be dealing with drugs in the game.
I like what Brian said. This is why NRL is a professional sport, not an elite sport. Well said, Brian, because they still haven't managed to keep it clean. There's still that sort of behaviour going around. Look, there's instances where the NRL does come down harsh, like what Finch has pointed out in regards to Valentine Holmes previously. So, but it's just far few in between, I feel. Do they need to educate the players more? The education should already be there,
how much more
honest.
education do you need?
They should be there already, yeah.
Zatar said something very interesting. He said, I think there's more to it than simple snorting coke. He's had a shit season. Media takes him for a ride.
Yep, something I pointed out earlier.
There's probably more mental health issues here.
That's what I pointed out earlier. It's the escape from the lows. If anyone was listening, it's there's more to it, A lot of players go out there thinking they're King Kong and they're above law, and somebody comes and offers them something. Yeah, I'm the man. So it's got to change their mindset.
Rob Ramsey, he says the photo is not clear. It could be anything on the table. Look, I get that, right? I get that. We're trying to be careful.
That was the chalk from the teachers' board.
I get that. I get that. We're trying to, be legally safe in that. But I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out what's going on. Look, I love Trelmy. Trelmy is an OG. He's a great player. I really feel sorry for him. Like, don't want to excuse the behavior. I don't want to say I feel sorry for him, but I had a lot of respect for him. And that's why I don't respect Munster or Smith or Holmes. Any player I see get caught doing any of this stuff, all right, they're good players, but I have very little respect for them.
I don't think much of them as a person, no.
I don't want them at my club.
Of course not.
That's the truth.
Good thinking. No dickheads policy.
Bro, I don't ever want to see myself see my my kid looking up to someone that I know has taken coke. It's just not something I feel comfortable with. Tariq Ahmed saying, I think it's a sports culture thing. It's across the board in Australia and internationally. Look, Tariq, I agree with you. It is a sports problem. 100%. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't want someone like Latrell to be the fall guy for all the idiots that have done something like this. But I can't help feel like I've lost a little bit of respect for him. That's the real hard truth. And you guys remember, if you guys have been following the podcast, when there was been racial slurs against him, when there's been people talking about Latrell, saying he's this, is that. I've always stood by Latrell. I've always supported Latrell. And look, everybody deserves a second chance. I'm not writing him off. I'm just saying that there needs to be some sort of punishment. Because Jamie Teasdale was asking, what's your take on Sherry? Bro, Sherry wasn't even allowed to sniff a field of grass. He couldn't play touch footy, couldn't play Ostag, couldn't go overseas and trial for the NFL. Otherwise, his punishment was going to restart. So he's paid his penance. He's done his time. I will not talk about what Sherry did 4 years ago. I refuse to bring up the history. The guy has done his time. Do you agree?
Of course.
With Bronson Sherry? I don't think I ever want to mention Bronson Sherry.
He's moved on from that.
In that language ever. The guy has done it, right? He's done the hard yards and he's come back and he's earned his spot. It's not like, we've given him a free ride because his dad's a coach or some shit. No, Sherry's earned it, and I don't want to talk about Sherry in light of any doping whatsoever. I don't think his name should continuously be tarnished in that way. If it gets done again, do whatever you want, say whatever you want. But Sherry is as far as I'm concerned, as clean and as clear as any other clean and clear player in the game. Full stop.
I have a question, if that's okay. The audience probably can't hear me.
I'll repeat it. Sorry, our producer Billy's going to ask a question and then I'll repeat it.
Don't you think the media has a bit of responsibility here? The people who leaked the photo should have just gone to the NRL, told them this is what's happened. Go for put
Agreed, Moot.
the punishment.
Sorry, I'm
But
just
now
reading the
go
comments.
through the entire rigmarole of being front page media and the mental health issues that come with that. So if he's already in a pretty bad place because he's doing this sort of stuff, he's just going to be sort of dragged into even worse.
Yeah, so Billy the producer is asking, what's the responsibility of media here, as opposed to just putting it out there on the front lines and letting everybody sort of go hell for broke attacking Latrell Mitchell? Shouldn't they be going directly to the NRL in order to protect the player's mental health, in order to protect whatever the player is going through, and then help him deal with the problems? I think the media doesn't give a shit. NRL journos are some of the most parasitic, disgusting journos in all of sport. They are the worst journalists. AFL journalists aren't even as bad as NRL journalists, and that's saying something.
I'm just going to... Chip. I know Chip 98 is trying to bait us, but I already made my opinion. He's asking who was the better side, and I've already given my opinion, whether it's the Dogs 2004 or the Dragons 2010, and I've already given my opinion, so I hope everyone agrees, but it's the Bulldogs 2004 by the length of the Flemington Straight. There's no comparison.
Just to add to that, I think that the Bulldogs forward pack in 2004 is one of the best we've ever seen.
The best. It's the best assembled forward pack I personally have seen.
That bench.
The forward pack, including the bench.
Yeah. Tariq Ahmed mentioned, just quickly, this is an
4 matches. Are they taking the piss?
I think 4 matches is fair.
Nah, I think you needed more.
I genuinely feel like 4 matches is fair.
I don't think it's enough, to be honest. I'm a bit disappointed.
So they're deliberating on the penalty. That was at 8:30. They haven't yet come out with it. But yeah, look, Tariq Ahmed said, I do believe mental health needs to be addressed more appropriately in the NRL, and young players need to be prepared for their future. I reckon that they have been. And I reckon that the NRL has improved a lot, but you just can't stop stupid. That's the way it is. You can't stop stupid. You can't stop peer pressure. And obviously, there's a lot of things that are happening. Latrell's been injured. Had the highs of Origin and played that game.
I just want to
75 people watching. Guys, 75 people watching.
I just want to move on from Latrell now.
Can we
talk about Canterbury's game this week?
Let's move on from Latrell. Please, if you are watching, if you're new here, give this video a thumbs up.
Let's talk about the game this week.
Please subscribe.
Come on, Elmo.
And if you want to support the podcast, please, we do have memberships available for $7 a month. You can help support us and get some perks for being a member. The link is in the chat. It just helps us pay for the podcast, helps us just upkeep. It is expensive to do. We love doing the content, and any help and any support from you guys would be amazing. The support that you guys have given us so far is incredible. So thank you so much, and I can't believe we're at 78. Unbelievable. I am, I'm very, 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 very blessed. Can't believe we're at 78. Now, we are going to talk about the Dogs v Dolphins. Right, so let's get into it. The teams were named earlier today, obviously. So there is one change to the Bulldogs team from the team that faced the Dragons, and that is Salmon comes in on the bench for Lipoi Hopoi. I reckon that's a good move that Salmon's come in for Lipoi Hopoi, only because it allows us to have a more rounded bench, and I don't think that Ciraldo's only going to use Salmon for 8 minutes or not use him at all like he's been doing with Hopoi.
You don't think he'll start him?
Over who?
So you reckon he'll only get like 8 or 10 minutes? I reckon he's at least 20 minutes, half hour. He does all your dirty defensive work on the field.
He's not going to start him because he's coming back from an injury, but he will get 20, 30 minutes. He will get 20, 30 minutes.
Yep, Finch already talked about Skelton going. We actually had a wake over here, so when he was leaving. Good signing by the Tigers. They've made some good signings. I don't know why the Dragons didn't even try to sign him, to be honest. So,
that for me is also very, very surprising. It's I don't know what the Dragons are doing. Honestly, I don't understand why they're not pouncing on it. Like someone like Skelton will add so much starch to their back line. He's got speed, he's got strength, he's got passing. Anyway.
Anyways,
Now-
back to this week's game. So what are the key...
Zartot has given us $2.99.
Thanks, Zartot.
Super chat, baking soda fund. Let's build up the baking soda fund, guys. If you want to contribute to the baking soda fund, let's do that. Firas Haddad is asking, would Red have kept Wilson or Skelton if you had the choice? I personally, could honestly, it'd be very, very hard to split them. In my honest opinion, it'd be very, very hard to split them. I think Wilson offers a different flavor to what Wilson offers, but it's
All
one
right.
in the same.
So back to this week's game. Give us your opinion, guys, between the Dogs and the Dolphins. How do you think it will go? Key matchups. How do you feel? What was his centre from last year's name that plays?
Jake Averillo.
How do you think Jake Averillo will go against his old team? He was their best player last year, but
So it's interesting. He'll be up against Bronson Sherry.
his replacement.
Crichton will be up against Farnworth, which I think is their danger man.
What a matchup!
Yeah, it'll be a
what
great
a
matchup.
mouth-watering matchup.
Great matchup.
Hopefully, a Dogs win from a Dragons point of view.
They don't have any changes.
Tavita Pangai versus
I
the
think
Dog.
it'll be interesting.
Great shout, Finch.
It'll be interesting to see how Tavita Pangai Jr. He's in there. He's starting prop. It'll be interesting to see how he goes against our team. And then on the bench, they've got a very inexperienced bench. They've got Oren Keeley, Lachlan Hubner, Ray Stone, and Sean O'Sullivan. Now,
I think that's where they've left themselves short.
yeah,
I
so
think
we've
you
got
guys are gonna get
Hayward, Moran, Hayes, and Salmon on the bench, which surprisingly is. It's so weird, but it's actually starting to sound like a good bench.
Oh,
Isn't it weird how these guys are
I
completely
can't.
new?
It's like the Rubik's Cube. I can't seem to decipher it, even your forward pack. So, just lost for words.
It just doesn't make
I'm
sense.
lost for words. Anyways,
I reckon that the Dogs win 13 plus, and Felice Gofusi. What a
Yeah, I'd love
haircut.
to
That
see a
is
big
the
Dogs win.
That is the worst haircut I've ever seen in rugby league, and there have been some really bad.
what do you mean he's
haircuts.
pioneered that? Now you're going to see every second kid and adult on the street walking with a what's it called? A cut like that.
What do you even call that? Like I don't know what you call. What do you call that haircut? We should just call it the Gofusi. That's what we should call it.
The
Gofusi, because it's so ugly.
No, I ran out of money at the barbers, so he only did part of the job. So that's what it is.
I mean, that's what it looks like, man. Yeah, look, All Things Bulldogs is saying that Dogs versus Turncoats, Pangai will play really well, trust me. I think Pangai's been really, really good for them. To be really honest, I think Pangai has been great for them. He was really good against the Warriors.
The Fusi Fade, John Sardi.
The Fusi Fade. The Fusi Fade, John Sard. That's a good one, actually. Jamie Teasdale, why would Pangai get dropped? I don't think Pangai will get dropped. I think he'll be there. He'll definitely be there.
You know what? I'm going to go. So I think somebody was on the money. I'm going to go Dogs by 14.
Dogs by 14.
Yeah, I think Gold Coast have left them short. I mean, not Gold Coast. Redcliffe have left themselves short on the bench. So
Yeah, look, I agree, and I thought Jeremy Marshall King would have been back by now for them, but he's still out.
is
still
he going to
injured.
play again this year?
Yeah, he will. He's been out for about 6 weeks now. I think he's got a couple more weeks to return. He's been honestly, I thought he was their best player of the year next to Isaiah Katoa, and you can see that they've struggled without. Even though Max Plath, I think, is doing a great job, they've really struggled without
Finch, I just think your defence can stifle them. I know they got the Hammer, who's an amazing attacker, and Herbie Farnworth, and obviously the winger. What's his name? The good goal kicker.
Zarko. Jermaine Asako.
Jermaine Asako, and the halves are great and all. Like, you're on the money there, Finch. I just think I think the Dogs' defence will stifle them today. I don't think I mean, it all comes down to how Redcliffe's forwards go. If they don't lay a platform for them, then the backs aren't going to do anything.
I mean, we've seen that. My chair just decided to. Sorry, boys. Yeah, I don't. The thing is, I don't see where they can hold us out. That's the truth. If we're attacking, and if it's a beautiful summer day up there in Bundaberg, I don't see how they stop our attack. They may get 18 points on us, although I don't think they will. I think they'll get they'll score 14 points. I don't think they'll score more than, say, 14 or 16 points, but they won't have enough in them to take it to us. That's why I think that we probably win 13 plus up there. But if Connor Tracy's out and Hayes Perham does come in to replace Connor Tracy, I think, it may not be as much of a blowout as we think.
So how long is Tracy out for?
So I think...
or is it touch and go at this stage?
I think that what's happened is that Crichton mentioned at the end of the game that Tracy was injured or injured his arm. So that I think could be... that could impact him playing this week. It's interesting because only Hayes Perham is the only back on the bench that could play fullback is Hayes Perham on the extended bench.
Don't say Hayes Perham because there's a few people watching
the
podcast.
I know.
Like Brian and and Finch will have heart palpitations if you mention Perham. So, Finch is asking, are you a Harry Hayes fan?
I love Harry Hayes. I'm so blown away by him being so young, not being a prop, being, he was a winger or a centre. If you go on the Bulldogs website, it actually still says he's a winger. And then coming in and being a prop, I think he's doing a great job.
Hey, all things Bulldog, love your contribution to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Love your comments. That's a good insight you've put there. Mate, I'll tell you now, no one did. Not even the most ardent Canterbury fans thought this would happen. Like, I can tell you now, and Finch will probably deny it, but probably about 3 months ago, Finch was probably bashing half those players in his comments. But he's on the bandwagon now. And I'm sure everyone else was probably, giving him a gob for about 3 or 4 months ago, but everyone's on the bandwagon now. So stay on that bandwagon.
And just to point out why I think Perham will get a run, he actually hasn't been named in New South Wales Cup. So, so I think Hayes Perham may get a run. Zatar, Seraldo's mentioned many times that the team that he names on Tuesdays are usually just for the media and never the team, or not necessarily the team that he'll go out with. So,
see what I like? See, if Shane Flanagan's watching the podcast, and by all means you should, take a leaf out of Cameron Seraldo's book. You owe those idiots nothing from the media. So
I agree.
You owe your team, you owe your fans, you owe the club that pays your wages.
You've got to have a ruthlessness about you. You've got to put the team first and the individual last. Tightline 66, Ace. I'm not sure who you're referring to about Ace.
I'm not sure who Ace is.
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
I think maybe the old Ace Doggies supporter. Maybe.
I don't know who Ace is.
But yeah, look, I think.
I don't know who. Somebody's mentioned Lycan King Togia. I think Chip 98 mentioned him. Rob Ramsey. I haven't seen him play first grader yet, so I don't know. Marshke only came back this week from his hamstring injury. Flanagan's probably that hopeful his son was going to get off. That's just disgusting, not even to name Marshke in that 22. But I hope he slots straight into the 6 now that Marshke's been omitted.
I want to say something. So people are saying, Perham, I'd rather do this or I'd rather do that. I have no reason to doubt.
Satar point a good point.
Yeah, so I'll get to that in a minute, but I just want to say something. I have no reason to doubt Seraldo or Gus's choices when it comes to the team. If Seraldo thinks that Hayes can come into this team and slot in a next man up mentality, I reckon that Seraldo has earned our trust as fans. That's what I reckon. And I think we need to be really honest with ourselves that Seraldo's been spot on with a lot of the decisions that he's made. That's where, that's why I sort of think I would love to see someone like Hayes Perham in this team to see how he goes. Right? I think he could be really good. He always had the speed and the deceptiveness. I just don't think he had the team around him maybe to help support him become or go to that next level. So, look, if he does come in, I support him 100%. And you know what? I hope he kills it. I hope he absolutely kills it because I think that he deserves it. He's copped a lot from us. He copped a lot from commentators and things like that. And if he's going to kill it, man, I'm here for it. I'm all for Hayes Perham absolutely killing it. So, that's what I think. Now, I think Abdul Fenj, I think Jarrell Skelton is suspended. That's why he's not named in reserves. That's why I think he's not in the reserves. Yeah, I think that Jarrell Skelton got suspended in what's it called? In reserves. Mo Hake, I think it's fine to criticize Cyril on the subs that he makes. Sometimes it seems like we are lethargic in the second half. And Dibbo was actually talking about this last week in that one thing that Serraldo still hasn't nailed is his rotation.
Either that or it's a Rubik's Cube. We still haven't figured out. So I'm just, he's confused us all.
Yeah.
I'm giving him credit now, actually.
I agree with you. I think that...
he's confounded us all.
And that's why I think Salmon coming back is a good thing, because I don't see Salmon getting any less than 20, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, which makes our team a little bit more well-rounded, in my opinion.
He's confounded everyone, from the pundits to the fans to the opposing teams. He's got everyone at a loss.
He's got everyone
good
at
on
a loss,
him.
yeah. So, you know, it's one of those, like, you can criticize. I'm not saying don't criticize. I'm just saying that, honestly, I reckon that Serraldo sort of earned our trust. And if he does play Hayes, if Connor Tracy's injured and Hayes comes in, I fully back Hayes. Having said that, there's no guarantees. Gus hasn't said anything about it, so they must probably be still running the test to see the severity of the injury, and it may just be something light that he can play with. Who knows?
I was just looking at Finch's comments. Could be that Jamin Salmon might not even come on. Like, there's been weeks the coach hasn't even used the 17th player off the bench. There was a week he didn't use Hot Boy, remember? Actually, he's done it probably about 5 or 6 rounds this year where he hasn't used one of the players off the bench. Could it be that Salmon doesn't even play this weekend?
I doubt it. So, quickly, Zatar is saying my money is Hayes is playing wing and Kira's the fullback. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, Kira's played 10 minutes at fullback. I don't know if that's the go. You know, I think a more natural fullback like Perham, who has had first-grade experience at fullback, could be good.
I would absolutely go Kira as that fullback ahead of him. Blake Wilson, I know he's broke his leg,
Yeah, he fractures his leg, yeah.
I mean, even you got Bronson Sherry and the Fox there, but I'll probably go Blake,
Kiraz?
Jacob Kiraz.
I mean, good shit. I'll put my hand up and say I'm wrong. I don't think Kiraz will do a bad job. I just think, why would you...
Has Joash Papali'i been named in the 22 or not?
No, so Josh Papali'i is named in reserve, in reserves.
So, all right.
Yeah, so...
Hopefully Tracy does play.
Yeah, I hope Tracy's not injured, because I think with Tracy there, with Tracy there, I think we easily beat the Dolphins 13 plus. I know it's very optimistic.
So Finch is asking, who would you take off for Salmon?
Oh, actually, that's a good point. So, Finchy, what I would say is that I think that there needs to be some creativity there. So what I would do is I would potentially move. I'll have Hayward and Salmon on and give Marnie a breather. Right. I think that Marnie at points can be given a 10-15 minute spell. Right. So you take Marnie off. Hayward at 9 when Marnie came off last week. I thought his service was brilliant. You could do Hayward at 9 and then have Salmon at 13. That's what I think you could do.
No, good chat. B Massive doesn't think Kiraz at fullback's a great idea. Said he had not a game to his standards at fullback. And then All Things Bulldogs is saying that Salmon will play because Serraldo loves him.
Yeah, so that's what I think as well. I think that I don't think Serraldo's chosen Salmon to leave him on the bench or to give him 5 or 10 minutes. He's chosen Salmon because he wants a more well-rounded bench and more experience.
I don't think they should bring Perham in. I don't think he can play to their standards. I'm being honest. Can Perham emulate what Connor Tracy's going to do? You've seen Tracy from the back.
Look, we don't necessarily...
I still think Curious at fullback's a better option than Perham.
I don't think...
Just my 2 cents.
I don't think... We shouldn't expect Perham to come in there and do the work that Tracy does, but we just want him to be solid, and we just want our 2, 3, 4, 5 to continue what they've been doing. You don't necessarily need to have a full replacement for Tracy, because I think Tracy will be hard to replace. Even Taff might not be able to do what Tracy's done for us. Some of the passing, some of the running onto the ball that Tracy's been doing will be hard to emulate. That's what I think.
And Finch is pointing out that, he's the way that Kurt Mann's going, he should be playing the longer minutes because he obviously offers you more in attack and his defence is great. Because
his defence is really good.
People forget Mann's played hooker, he's played 5'8", he's played centre.
He's loving that lock position.
I think he's even played fullback or something.
He has played fullback. He's loving that lock position. He's loving having one defined role for himself and going from there, which, I think is helping his game flourish. Maurice is saying that Mann has gotten more and more impressive each week. I love Kurt Mann. Like, Kurt Mann was such an underrated signing, and everyone's like, oh, Kurt Mann this, Kurt Mann that. But man, the way he hits, he hits for a small bloke, the experience.
He's always been a solid. I think the criticism that Canterbury was getting was And it was the same everywhere. Oh, they've just signed too many utilities. I think Canterbury's just shown the way. Maybe utilities is the future, well, in the short term anyway. Utilities might be the way.
Look, to be honest, with the way small ball is going,
especially with the HIA rulings and that, you need someone that's versatile.
Yeah, look, the way small ball is going, as I say, I think
because look at Blake Curran. He can play in the centres, I reckon. He's actually he's quite agile.
Josh Curran?
Yeah, he's agile on his feet.
Yeah, he's very agile on his feet.
He's quite agile on his feet.
So I don't think Critter goes to fullback. I think that Critter is doing what needs to be done at centre. And as Zata has mentioned, he'll be up against Herbie Farnworth, who I think is one of the scariest centres in the game when it comes to running the ball. So I reckon he stays defending Herbie. He'll shut Herbie down. And anyone who goes to fullback will be able to do a great job there. We've got Burton and Sexton there for attack. I don't think we need to play too much with the equation.
Can I ask who's? So he's got the Dolphins this week,
Warriors next week,
and then you got the Cowboys,
and then Manly. I think it's Manly then Cowboys.
All right. I'm just thinking, when does your coach maybe rest some players?
I don't think we do.
So who was next week again? Already, memory of a goldfish.
Dolphin, Warriors, Manly Cowboys.
I was about to suggest maybe resting some players against the Warriors.
No, to New Zealand, we want to go over there and win. I reckon Serraldo's thinking we want top 4. No, we want top 4.
I reckon you got to hope the Dragons do you a favour. So you do a favour for the Dragons.
And you guys do a favour back.
Yeah,
100%.
Deal. We shake on it.
All things Bulldogs saying, you're right about Marnie has been having a rest until the last 3 games. Salmon plays a small rock roll with Mayon Haywood to give Marnie a rest. Look, I agree. I think that's what I envisage will happen, especially if he's got a bit of an AC joint injury. So it just gives us that flexibility. And again, I think Haywood and Mann will do a great job, deputising for Marnie out of 9. Abdul Fenn just mentioning Mann reminds me of Connor Watson. I think he was Connor Watson before Connor Watson was Connor Watson. That's what I think about Kurt Mann. That's genuinely what I think.
Well, he's been around longer.
He's been around a long time. He's very, very similar to Connor Watson. And look, all things Bulldogs saying Kurt Mann should play for Origin for Queensland next year.
Is he a Queenslander?
Yeah, he is. He's a bit old though. I don't know if that's the direction they want to go.
He's never too old.
He's 31 this year.
Yeah, that's not old.
I'm with you. But they have other options. Look, to be honest, if Mann was at the Dogs and he's playing for Queensland, the more players we have playing for Origin, the happier I'll be. So I'm all for it. Mark Jeffs is saying Flanagan wouldn't be at the Dragons if it wasn't for his daddy. 100%.
Yeah, spot on. He wouldn't be at any club now.
Now, what I do want to do very quickly, so it's official. Flanagan's got cops 4 weeks for biting. So if you guys make the finals, that's when he'll be back.
Yeah, I hope not. If they do make the finals and he decides to choose him, I'll absolutely riot.
He absolutely is. You know that he would be.
I'll burn the grandstand down with the Leagues Club with it. Not the St George one, the Wollongong one. That's the... Yeah.
I want to so quickly. We've been on for long. It's been absolutely amazing tonight. We've broken our record. We hit 78. Hopefully next week we get closer to 100. Now, if you are just still watching, please just give the video a quick thumbs up. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. Abdul Finch mentioning only team I can see Dogs having a bit of trouble is against Manly. I agree with you, but I think Manly has suspect defence. And I don't think they can penetrate our D.
I reckon your hardest game out of the 4 is this week's, and that's it.
Warriors in New Zealand with Sean Johnson's last home game. I think that'll be an emotional one.
I think they're just playing with too much emotion. I still expect you guys to win, and I really want you guys to win. So, yeah, if they're going to go there and just play with emotion for Sean Johnson, then they're not going to get within 3 tries of you guys. They can't make the finals anymore.
Oh, they can't. They think they can, but I think it's over.
No, they can't. They got to give up.
I want to do a quick preview, or not a preview, but give me your tips. Panthers in the Storm could be grand final. Come early.
Where's that game at? Penrith.
So I'll show you. I'll tell you where that is. Sorry, yeah, that's in Penrith, Bluebet Stadium in Penrith.
I know they're winning, but I don't know, man. Penrith have been a bit flat. Like, when do they actually flex their muscles? Like, even against the Dragons, I didn't feel like they flexed their muscles, even though they won so comfortably. So, tough one.
What do you reckon?
I mean, Melbourne's been crappy as well. I'm going to go Penrith by 8. Somehow it'll still be close. Penrith by 8, and I could be wrong on this.
I'm going to say Penrith by 12.
I was going to go Melbourne. I'm kind of like inclined to, but yeah, I'm just going to stick Penrith by 8. I'm inclined to go Melbourne for some reason.
No, I'm going to go Penrith by 12. I think Penrith are going to start building into it. Then you've got Eagles and Warriors at 4 Pines Park. I'm going to say Eagles by plenty. Eagles by 12 or 14. 13 plus, I'm going to say.
Warriors are missing a few, are they?
Not. So Sean Johnson's back.
Yep.
And they get Marcelo Montoya comes back. Pompey's back, so he can take the kicks now off Chanel Harris-Tavita.
Is Manly missing anyone from their forwards?
No, so Lehigh Hopewadi will be back. Daniela Paseka, Josh Aloye. Nah, they're not missing anyone.
I'll go Manly by 4.
To be honest, what is surprising is they've dropped...
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
They've dropped Sipley, which is really interesting. They've dropped Sipley, and they've got Ben Trebojevic on the bench in place of Sipley, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, well, nepotism. My brother's the captain.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
Whatever it is, the vice captain.
They've only got one real forward on the bench in Nathan Brown. This could actually be an upset. This could be a Warriors upset.
It's too hard once to tip. I've just gone Manly for 4.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to call Warriors. I'm going to call Warriors by 6.
Yep,
I'm going to call Warriors by 6.
Yep.
And then you've got Roosters and Eels 8 p.m. at Allianz.
Is that even a question?
Yeah, I'll go Roosters by plenty.
I'm going to go Roosters to win 64-16.
No, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Or maybe 64-6.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
I've said it. 64-6, the Roosters. Next.
That's a big score, but
of course. They're going to turn it on.
I don't think
Allianz.
So. And then it's I'm going to say Roosters by 13 plus. They've got Bulldogs and Dolphins. If Connor Tracy plays, I'm saying 13 plus.
I think I've gone the Dogs by 14. Everyone thinks it's a big margin. I just think maybe the Dolphins have left themselves short on the bench, but we'll see.
I think they have.
Hopefully Canterbury forwards play a good game, and then I'm right.
Look, as long as we defend like we have been.
I hope so. They've got a good attack. Finch is right. Dolphins got a good attack. Anyways, we'll see who wins the battle of the forwards. They'll decide it.
Cowboys against the Raiders. I'm going to go for the upset here. I'm going to go Raiders by 6.
Where's the game at?
Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Hate that team. They always get the easy games at the right time. There's another team that gets a good draw.
Yeah, no one gets an easier draw than the Sharks, but I'm gonna go Raiders by 6 in the upset.
I'm gonna go Cows because they're gonna get all the calls by 6.
Okay, yeah, I mean that's a fair call. I don't think they're gonna blow the Raiders away. Tigers against the Rabbitohs. I know this is really against the grain, but they're playing at Campbelltown. I'm going to go Tigers by 8.
Yeah, I'm going to go... I was just about to say... I was going to say Tigers by 6.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yep, a week of turmoil for the South Sydney Rabbitohs, so it's going to be worse.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I think it'll affect them. Yeah. I don't know how Ben Hornby's going to manage it, but Dragons and Titans up in Wynn Stadium.
Oh, I don't even want to tip the Dragons here. I'll tell you what, Dragons to get home in a hot hometown decisions, 28-14 against the Gold Coast. So they're going to get done a favour by the referees.
Sorry,
That's what's going to get them home.
Go back on it, sorry?
28-14, hot hometown decisions.
28-14.
Yeah. You think it'll be closer?
Yeah, I think it'll be closer. Yeah. I think Dragons win by 8.
Because of the home ground advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 24-18 to the Dragons.
Hot hometown advantage. Hometown decisions.
The reason why I say Dragons gonna win is because Flanagan's not playing.
Yeah, hopefully our attack's a lot better.
So I'm gonna say Dragons by 6.
Hopefully, yeah.
And then the last game, Sharks v Knights. I thought Knights played decently well. How good is that Fletcher Sharp for the Knights?
He's a natural. He's all action. He loves getting his hands on the ball and going for that try.
Very good to see.
Loves motoring down that wing.
And look, I think Phoenix Crossland has added something for them at 7.
Has what's good come back yet?
Who?
Nico Hines?
No, not yet.
When's he back? Don't tell me against the Dragons.
Honestly, I'm not sure, but they've got Blake Brayley at 7 and Atkinson at 6 again.
Jeez, that worked well for him.
But they do have Braden Trindle in the reserve, so I do think that Trindle will come back. He'll be in the team.
Where's the game at?
It's McDonald Jones.
Oh
no, so it's at Point Bet. Yeah, Point Bet Stadium.
Shark Park.
I'm actually gonna. I'm gonna
go Newcastle by.
I'm gonna go Newcastle by 12.
Yeah, I'm gonna go similar. 8 points Newcastle.
Yeah. And so that rounds it out. I'm going to take the last question. Does Elmo like Corey Horsburgh? I am a big fan of Corey Horsburgh. I was a big fan of him in 2021 when he played a couple of games for us. I was a big fan of him at the Raiders.
Can I get something right? So did he debut for you guys?
No, he didn't.
So he played lower grades?
Corey Horsburgh.
Yeah.
No. So do you remember when COVID was happening? Players were coming on loan.
Oh, and he came to you guys?
Yeah, for 2 games. He played 2 games for us at the
How
Bulldogs.
did I miss that?
At the end
How
of
did he look in
2021.
blue and white?
Hey, but it suited him.
So
Suited him.
bring him. You need a redhead, don't you?
I think if we can get
There's
him,
no redhead at the club.
if we get him for a good price, I reckon he's worth every cent, every dollar. You know,
You know what? Can we start a fund on the podcast? Get Corey Horsburgh to the Bulldogs.
bring the Rangers, James Graham 2.0. I would love to have him.
I reckon Corey Horsburgh, if they can contain his emotions and he obviously trains hard and keeps his nose clean and does what
100%.
Serraldo, it buys into what Seraldo's doing.
100%.
Bloody oath, bring him on. I'll have to see him at the Dogs.
Yeah, I think he'll do great. What do you guys think? Do the Doggies even need him, considering we've got Tupanua coming, we've got Tolata Amon, we've got Daniel Saluka Fafita, we've got Max King, Sam Hughes. I actually think, all things considered, our prop stocks are looking very, very good next year. And look, Daniel Saluka Fafita actually played very, very well last week. So just to give you a bit of a taste of how good he's playing, and I know it's reserves, but it should still account for something. He played, Daniel Saluka Fafita played.
That was that big forward for you guys. He was looking fit.
He played 50 minutes.
He was looking fit, by the way.
Took 16 hit-ups for 170 meters.
Wow.
75 post contact.
Jeez.
Yeah, so he's got it in him.
So you reckon he might scrape in this year?
Not this year, but next year for sure. I think
Yep.
he's definitely a project for sure. So, I think our forward stocks are good. I don't know if we want to go out there and spend our cap. But then again, where do we need shoring up? It's a good position to be in. Anyway, it's 9:07 p.m. We've been going for about 2 hours. I've loved every minute of this. I really love all the support that you guys give us. It's been such a pleasure to be with you guys. My last message is, I think, where the Bulldogs are hot, it's going to be hard to stop us. I don't know if we drop another game this year. Best of luck to the Dragons. I really hope that you guys do beat the Titans, just because I think if you guys make the 8, you'll make our first game very, very easy. So
I just want to point out something that Finch has put at the end.
Yeah.
About the bullfrog, the Godfather.
Yeah.
So he said, when you think you have enough props, buy another one for good luck.
That's a great statement.
Good one in, Finch. You know what? I feel like getting this guy on the podcast.
Yeah, no, we're not doing it. We're not bringing any Nepo babies here just because he's your mate. We're not bringing you on. We will maybe. Look, we do want to start bringing fans onto the podcast. I mean that, but we're only going to open that up to those who are members. So in the next couple of weeks before we hit to the finals, we're thinking we want to bring on a fan to the podcast to be live with us, or a few, and that's only an option if you're a member. So keep that in mind. Now, any last words before we head off, Dibbo?
I think it's just, it was great news. I mean, he only got 4 weeks, but kind of annoyed he didn't get more. I actually am annoyed he didn't get more. I was hoping more like 6 to 8 weeks minimum. It's a bit of a downer, but I'll take the 4 weeks while I got it. Hopefully their tax straightens up now.
Yeah, but I mean, if Jack Bird's at 6, I don't know how much.
Yeah, that's another. I've looked at it already, and it's making me start thinking. I've been in deep thought, seeing that no Marshki has King Kogarah been named? But no Marshki named yet.
No, so in the extended...
And I know he's back. But you know what? Marshy doesn't need a warm-up game because when he played against Brisbane, he hadn't played about 2 or 3 weeks prior.
Yeah, like in King Kogarah is named on the
I'd go
extended
Marshki.
bench.
He's got a good boot on him.
Yeah, he's not named in the on the extended bench.
I'd bring him in.
I don't know if he can. They might need to seek an exemption from the NRL because Flano's been...
But now he's down to 21, so surely he should be allowed
Yeah,
to
should be.
Yeah.
Look, either way, I hope you guys do get in. Thank you very much, guys, for spending 2 hours with us. It's been so much fun. All your support means the world to us. Thank you, everyone, to the super chats, everyone that's supporting us.
Love yous all.
We love yous all. We're growing. We've got some really exciting guests coming on. I don't want to say anything just in case it falls through, but when they hit, you will know and you will love it. We have some great videos coming out as well, some feature stuff that isn't live. Keep an eye out for that. have a great weekend. If you don't support the Dogs, I hope your team wins. Unless you support the Parramatta Eels, whereas I hope you guys get the spoon.
I think that's beyond them now. But see you all.
Take care, guys.